Hi everyone, Pam here from Res Reach. Today I want to go over 5 ways to get direct bookings using OwnerRez. We're going to fly through this pretty fast, of course. If you have questions, let me know. But these are the 5 that I've split out for you and what I like to talk about all the time. The first is actually using OwnerRez's direct quote system within your account. That does not take a website, and some people don't know about it. So I'm just gonna skip back and forth. And if you go to your booking, you can create a booking from here. You can also create a quote. So when you do that, of course, select the property and the information. Oops. Let's come out here a ways. We'll put in a couple adults. So there is actually this new public link idea here, which is really super cool. First, though, if you send this quote, you can always send it as an email. So that's been in the system for a while. This public link here is what's new. So if I actually view this, I'll pop over to the creating a quote page. And like I said, this is newer. It's actually responsive that OwnerRez just built, which is great. The renter can see the dates. They can change them here, the amount of guests, and then of course put in their contact information here. And this is going to go into the OwnerRez system and create a booking. So if you're on the phone with somebody or you're emailing anything, you can send them this quote screen and it looks really, really nice. So that's number one, the way to get direct bookings, which is pretty slick if you ask me. The second I want to talk about is the OwnerRez hosted website. So the OwnerRez hosted website lives within, and this is under settings. You would go to my website and hosted website. Now, this is an extra module, so you pay a little extra per month for this. I have a whole bunch that I've sampled in here, but what this is a quick and easy way to set up a website using the data that you already have in OwnerRez. So I'm just going to create a new one really fast to show you how easy it is. So you literally come in here to create website. This is my 15th sample, don't mind that. But I'm going to leave everything alone. I'm not going to change anything. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit save here at the bottom. It's going to ask me to create a template. So depending on where my properties are, I'm just going to go with this urban one for now. You can click preview on here if you want to. I'm just going to use this one. And then I'm going to save this. OwnerRez has just built the website for me. So that's how fast it is. Now, I already have a lot of information inside of OwnerRez in my account. So you can see all the pages that it built, and I can actually see my test location here. Now, this is live on the internet. It has a subdomain of OwnerRez in here. You can actually use this to take bookings right now. So this is using all of the properties that I have inside and the pictures. It creates a beautiful homepage, of course, puts my logo and branding at the top. If I click into a property, it's going to show the pictures that I have inside of OwnerRez and all the information again in here. And then it supplies a nice booking form right to the right here, so I can take bookings again right away. So it's a very nice website out of the gate. I tell people to definitely go this route if you're newer to the direct booking game, or you don't have time or anything like that. If you don't have a web developer on your team, definitely set this up. You don't need to know how to code to do it, and you can get that, the money coming in right away for that. So this is an ideal solution if you're just getting started or you don't want to deal with the website, those types of things. So again, really, really great option here. And that's actually number 2 on my list. So let's jump back. The third way to take direct bookings using OwnerRez is going to be the widgets plus an outside hosted website. So when I say that an outside hosted website, this is a site you built on like WordPress or Wix or something like that, and you're going to utilize the OwnerRez widgets. So what I mean by that, I have this sample, Mountain Modern Vacation. They have built this site in WordPress, and they opted to list all their properties here. So they did a page for each property. So if I jump in Blue Bungalow, all of this information lives within their website that they built. And then if you scroll down, this availability calendar, this is actually what we call a widget inside of OwnerRez. So if you hop back into your OwnerRez account, again under settings. Oops, I'm in the way. Settings, and then there's a tab here for widgets. A whole bunch of different widgets you can create. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different options here. So these are, they call them widgets. They're just sample little bits of code that you can copy and paste into your account. So again, you don't need to know how to code to do this. If I wanted to add a booking form as an example, I just select my settings. I can always change them at any time. If I hit save, and scroll down, this is the code that I want to embed on my site. So I would copy this and I would paste it normally into like an HTML block or something similar on the website side, and it will show this form. So again, back to this. This is the reviews widget. So we told OwnerRez to show reviews for this property. So this is the widget for that. And here's that booking form that I mentioned. So they just copied and pasted that code into their website. That's how they decided to kind of lay out their own site and again post the form to take bookings. Everything goes into OwnerRez and it runs as normal after that. So widgets are a really great way to use an existing site and then bring in bookings to OwnerRez. The widgets are free, by the way, in the OwnerRez account. So that's a nice option as well. Next, I'm going to look at the number 4, which I love to call the hybrid hero. It's one of my favorites, especially if you have probably more than 5 properties. This is going to use the OwnerRez hosted website that we already looked at, and it's also going to utilize an outside hosted website. So in my example here for 365 Blue Vacations, we built this in WordPress as well. You'll hear that a lot, but you could have it anywhere. So this is all WordPress based, the design and the links and the pictures and whatnot. What we opted to do here is when you hover over vacation rentals, she separated her properties by location. So if I click on Breckenridge as an example, this is a WordPress page. And then in here, this 14 properties that you see here, this is actually a widget, again, showing the search ability that they have in OwnerRez. So I could put in my dates and I could search right here. It's going to show me the properties that are available. The beauty of the hybrid hero option is when I click on one of the properties, you'll see it's going to jump to different websites. So we did a website, rentals.365 Blue Vacation. So that's called a subdomain. So it's still a part of their same name, but it's kind of at a little different place. This is actually the OwnerRez hosted site. So it jumps into here. We designed it to be very, very similar in style. But here is where you'll see all the OwnerRez information. Again, very similar to the first example I showed of the hosted site. And as you scroll, everything is here. So the beauty of this is, like I said, especially if you have a lot of properties, you don't have to build a property page on your site every time you add, or if you remove something, you don't have to do anything. It just jumps into the OwnerRez site, does its thing, and you really don't have too much to do. Maybe the only thing you'll have to do is to update your widgets. If you removed a property, it should be automatic, but you might check it. But this is a great, great way to run your website if you have a lot of properties. The number 1 reason is, well, maybe the number 2 reason. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of good reasons. But you could use your website here, like the shell of it or the umbrella, however you want to call it. You could get into more marketing things. So the hosted website in OwnerRez, you can't really tweak it too much. It's very templated. Unless you really know the code, you're not going to get super far. But what's really nice about this is using WordPress, I can add plugins and I could add like forms to get leads. I can do, marketing countdowns or associate it with social. I can do a lot of different things with this website. And I don't have to know the code to figure out how to do it on the hosted site on the OwnerRez side. Hopefully that makes sense. We can talk more about the hybrid hero if this is of interest to you, but I just wanted to showcase this option as well. And then that takes our 5, last but not least, of course, is just using an outside hosted site. You're not using the OwnerRez site at all. And I have two separate parts here. The first is I did say WordPress here because OwnerRez has a WordPress specific plugin. So also under website plugins, you would enable it. And again, this gives you just codes. You don't have to know what they mean or what they say, really. You would copy this and put it in the website. So the WordPress plugin is actually going to bring into the site some additional items. So if you remember on this example, this does things like availability and reviews and the booking form, right? And I can show a breakdown of that at another time. But those are just widgets. If I add in the plugin, it's going to allow me to bring in descriptions, and some additional things to pull out of OwnerRez pretty easily. So this is Chalets of Racetown site, and another example. This is a property page for what they call the Naughty Pine. So all of this up here, we built in WordPress, right? We did the icons, all this fun stuff. This, as you now recognize, is the booking form. So this is a widget. Over here on the right, this is actually part of the WordPress plugin. So again, they allow you to bring in additional information, and that's because pulling in the photos from OwnerRez actually costs them a little bit of money. So that's why this is an extra module. So that kind of works like that. And then as you scroll down, you'll see this is the description. This is also the plugin. And then we have amenities, again, the plugin. So you can kind of mix and match the solutions from OwnerRez, the WordPress plugin, and the widgets to create your pages. So this is nice if you don't have a ton of properties, but you change stuff fairly often inside of OwnerRez. It's just going to pull in and show up here. You don't have to come in and add a photo or anything like that. So it makes you a little more hands-off at the end of the day, which is really nice. The other part, number 5, is another outside hosted site or a third-party site using API. That's going to be in the developer world. We can create a lot of custom things, which is great. Pulling in all the information from OwnerRez, of course, but that's going to be in the realm of getting into coding. So if you're not into that, no worries. You have 5 other options to build your own website, and we can help you do that anytime. So hopefully you like this rundown of the 5 ways to get direct bookings using OwnerRez. There's a lot of options. If you want to talk, let me know. We can chat about your business and I can help you figure out which is the best option for you. Thanks. See ya.